Well, welcome everyone, and thanks again for making the time to join us today. Before we dive in, this session is being recorded, and you can drop your questions in the chat anytime, but we'll also open it up at the end for a live Q&A, so feel free to wait until then if you'd prefer. And as we get started, as Laura mentioned, we'd love to have you share your introduction in the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're joining from, and what you hope to learn today, and we'll review those and make sure we touch on all the points you put in the chat. So I'm Emily Fopp. I'm the Senior Manager of Scholarship and Knowledge Mobilization, and I led the design of our new CEP Microcredential courses. Laura, if you want to go to the next slide. I'm joined today by my colleague Laura Weaver, who has recently joined the team as Director of Professional Development and will facilitate the courses and the enrollment process. So between us, we should be able to answer all of your questions about the program. Our agenda today includes a program overview, a deep dive into the curriculum for each course. We'll share about the course format and participant experience, how to enroll, and then we'll end with plenty of time to answer your questions. And I'll pass it over to Laura to get us started with the program overview.
Thank you, Emily. There we go. I just wanted to make sure I got one last thing there in the chat. Yes, we are so excited that you all are here with us today. This is something that Campus Compact is very excited to be rolling back out in a very comprehensive way. I also want to say thank you to Emily for all the hard work that she has been doing with the CEP certification and the microcredential program. I know this is a passion project of hers and something that she has worked so hard on over the course of, gosh, probably a year, 2 years, Emily? How long has it been?
3 years since we started with the needs
3 years.
assessment.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah.
And I see some claps in our audience. So yes, I think this definitely deserves a huge round of applause. Campus Compact, CEP certification, and the CEP Microcredential Program really work hand in hand with each other. They are structured, but also very flexible, and it's a very flexible pathway for community engagement professionals and practitioners. And I know many times when folks hear that word community engagement professional, they wonder, like, what does that mean? Who is that? And that's something, if you have questions, that Emily or I can always help you think about that and talk through that. But really, we both will tell you that that can be a very broad category of folks. It can be those who are leading centers, it can be faculty who are really looking to expand their professional development, it can be grad students. So, really, the sky can be the limit, but it's really for those who are at any stage in their career and who really want to receive recognition for the knowledge and skills that they have. It also serves to validate the core competencies of the field of community engagement and can signify to others that those who have completed both the micro-credential courses, but then also those who are really looking to pursue the pathway to full certification, that they possess all of those competencies as well. Currently, Campus Compact has 5 virtual micro-credential courses. They were all developed by leading civic and community engagement scholar practitioners. You can take them at your own pace through our learning management platform, which is Talent LMS. We've had a lot of folks, and you'll hear more about it later, who have had a really good experience taking the courses through Talent LMS. And for those that are really seeking full certification, you would complete 5 courses, as well as a capstone project, which Emily will give us a lot of more information about that a little bit later in our session. Currently, we do have 5 courses right now, but I know Emily is chomping at the bit to develop out more courses for our course catalog. Emily is going to go into detail, a lot more detail right after this about those courses, but the 5 that we currently have are community engagement fundamentals, critical commitments in community engagement, community engaged partnerships, community engaged teaching and learning, and community engaged research. All of those will be offered this fall in an asynchronous format with a limited number of those being offered in a cohort learning format, which we'll talk more about once Emily kind of goes through some more what, after we dig deeply into what those courses are all about. We are also going to be piloting a new campus integration model where Campus Compact can bring those micro credentials to your campus for a group of faculty, staff, graduate students, or a combination of all of those are able to engage together in the material. So in a few days to earn a micro credential. So that's a really something exciting that we can talk more about as well. But in the meantime, I'm going to pass it over to Emily so that she can go into detail about what is in all of these micro credential courses.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to spend a few minutes on what you'll actually be learning in the courses because I think this is where the real value of the program shows up. Each of the 5 courses maps to a core competency area and community engagement practice, as described in Distilio's CEP competency model. What ties them together is this shared competency framework. So by the time you've completed all 5, you've built a well-rounded, demonstrable skill set rather than just 5 disconnected courses. We offer a recommended sequence for those working toward full certification, but each course is designated as a standalone microcredential as well. Think of these as stackable microcredentials. In the next phase of development, we'll design 4 additional courses based on the competency model, so participants pursuing certification can choose 5 of the 9 available, tailoring the experience to their individual interests and needs. I want to walk you through each course, but you can find all of this information along with learning objectives for each course on our website, which has been recently updated. So the first course, Fundamentals, this one provides a foundational overview of service learning and community engagement for current and aspiring community engagement professionals. Learners explore the history, principles, leadership strategies, and professional skills that define effective CEP practice. For anyone taking the full series of courses or those who are new to the field, we recommend starting here. Modules in this course cover basic definitions, roles, and pathways of CEPs, the history of the community engagement field, principles and practices, institutionalizing and leading community engagement, evaluation and assessment, and faculty and staff professional development. It's more than a light overview of topics. You'll find a deep dive and rich resources in most of these areas. It's really an invaluable course for folks at any career stage. The next course is, let's see, Laura, it looks like her slides are a little wonky there. We're only seeing part of it. Yeah, okay. That's good. So the next one is critical commitments. Yeah, again, it's kind of cut off, but I think it'll work just fine. I'll keep cruising. So this course prepares community engagement professionals to critically examine and act on their commitments to equitable ethical practice. Learners explore intersectionality, positionality, power and privilege, culturally relevant approaches, and anti-colonial frameworks. Learners also examine how structural inequities shape community-university relationships and develop concrete strategies to disrupt them. Modules in this course cover essential terms, concepts, and approaches, strategies for advancing this work on campus and with community partners, your role and identity as a CEP, implicit bias and community engagement, responding to challenges in campus climate as a community engagement professional, and equity-centered leadership practices. This course really takes seriously the value of self-reflection and application through self-assessments, case studies, and personalized learning journeys. This is a course rich with personal and professional growth opportunities, a must-take course in our series, valuable for anyone in the field or aspiring to be in the field of community engagement. And this one just went through kind of a second round of revisions, and it's looking really, really good. I think I'm going to use this course as kind of the example as we build out others. So this is a great one I encourage you to take a look at. And the next course is partnerships, as Laura's working to get that slide up. This course, it's community engaged partnerships. This course equips community engagement professionals with the knowledge and skills to build and sustain equitable, reciprocal community campus partnerships. Learners explore partner dynamics, asset-based and justice-centered practice, communication strategies, conflict resolution, and partnership sustainability. Another core competency area, our Community Engaged Partnerships course, shares frameworks and examples covering readiness, roles, and critically reflexive practice, participant motivations, partnership values and phases, building trust with partners, preparing collaborators, and sustaining partnerships. Each module includes instructor-led presentations, participant assignments, reflection prompts, and praxis opportunities, applying what you're learning to your own work. Developing and sustaining community partnerships is one of the most common requests for professional development among CEPs, and this course does an excellent job of providing a foundation and extending your thinking with deeper dives and newer material. This would be a great continuing education opportunity for seasoned practitioners as well as those who are newer in the field. And next we have teaching and learning, I believe. Yes. This course equips community engagement professionals, faculty, students, and community partners with the knowledge and frameworks to design, implement, and assess high-quality, community-engaged teaching and learning experiences. Learners explore foundational principles, intentional course design, critical reflection, and assessment strategies. This is a fun one. Your instructor keeps the material lively and engaging while offering many tools you can share or implement right away. She covers pedagogical practices, engaged learning, student-focused, designing courses with community partners, and reflection and assessment tools. Following the presentation and readings in each module, you'll find an activity to extend your learning further through practical application. Uniquely, at the end of this course, you'll walk away with an engaged teaching and learning toolkit that the instructor facilitates along the way. It'll be compiled through the materials that she's sharing and will be a resource to take with you on your professional journey as a CEP. And next, last but not least, community engaged research. This course introduces the principles, practices, and ethics of conducting collaborative research with and for communities. Learners explore participatory action research, community-based participatory research, equitable partnership building, co-design of research methodologies, and ethical practice. This course is essential for anyone conducting community-engaged research or supporting faculty or students who conduct community-engaged research. Here you'll find deep dives on topics from our core courses shared through the lens of research, including building trust with communities, ethical considerations in community-engaged research, and power, privilege, and positionality. You'll also find modules on co-creation of projects and data collection, analysis, and dissemination in community-engaged research projects. The course wraps up with sustainability, capacity building, and advocacy, all important skills for a CEP. And moving along, certification. For those wishing to pursue full CEP certification, you'll complete 5 individual microcredentials, then assemble a capstone project, which is the culminating requirement for CEP certification. It's designed to give candidates the opportunity to demonstrate how they apply the knowledge, skills, and values developed across the 5 courses in a real or aspirational context, workplace context. Candidates choose from 7 approved formats based on their professional context, learning style, and career goals, so it's highly adaptable to fit your needs and make sure it's a useful exercise for each individual. You can see those 7 options on the screen there, and we go into greater detail on the website. All formats require a reflective narrative that anchors the work to CEP competencies. Capstones are evaluated by 2 field experts using a shared rubric. Successful completion of the capstone project results in full certification and the badge you see on the screen. Completing 5 courses and the capstone will take some time, so if this pathway is of interest to you, you might consider building it into your long-term professional development plan, a great goal to work towards. And with that mouthful, I will hand it back to Laura to keep us going on what the experience is like for participants.
Okay, sorry everyone. Got multiple tech things happening all at once. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we do have 3 different learning opportunities available. We have our individual self-paced learning opportunity, which would be an asynchronous pathway that folks would be going through the process. You can go through that process as quickly or as slowly as you would like. This can be a great opportunity for those of you that are like, I really want to get through these courses as fast as possible. It can also be a great opportunity for those that maybe have a concentrated amount of time that to work on a micro-credential course. It can also be a great opportunity for someone who knows that they are very busy and they need some extra time to work on each of the different micro-credentials, that you can take that slow paced time that you may need. So that's a great opportunity for those individuals as well. Or someone who isn't sure what the timeline is going to be. Maybe you haven't taken a course in a long time and you just want to like dip your toe in. That is a very nice opportunity. We also have facilitated cohorts. What that looks like is you will still be taking the modules in our LMS, Talent LMS provider. You will be going through those modules on your own, but you will be having facilitated conversations as a part of everyone, along with everyone else who selects this session in your micro-credential course to help you process through each of those learning modules to have deeper conversation with folks. So you will still be on a schedule to finish within a certain allotted amount of weeks for each of those micro-credential courses. So those will be on a schedule. So that is the second opportunity for learning. And then we have what we are piloting right now is which are campus integrations. We are really thinking about those as intensives. So we'll be working individually with campuses who want to explore what this opportunity looks like. You may say, you know what, we've got a group of folks who we really want to go through the foundational course with, and we want to bring those 10 or so people together. And we would build that process out for you and say, okay, in these 3.5 to 4 days, we would come to campus and we would go through all of the lessons within that micro credential within 3.5 to 4 days with the intent of those 10 to 25 folks ending that 3.5 to 4 days, earning the micro credential for, let's say, the foundations course or the community partnership course. So that's the third opportunity that we have. And we currently are piloting that this fall with a few campuses to see what does that look like? Is the 3.5 to 4 days enough time? Do we need to expand what those sessions? So those are our three learning opportunities. For member campuses, all of those are available. For folks that are at non-member campuses, we currently just have the individual self-paced option available, so that asynchronous option. But really, what does this look like? What are you going to be experiencing? Each course has 7 modules plus an introduction and kind of a wrap-up for each of the courses. So you have those 7 modules. Each module is about 2 to 3 hours of work. And then, so each course is about 15 to 20 hours long. So that kind of gives you the amount of classwork time that you will have as you go through those. Each course does have instructor-led videos. So when we think about who those scholar practitioners that develop the courses, each of those individuals had created instructor-led videos. They selected readings that were really critical for each of those courses. They developed reflection prompts to help you reflect on what you were learning in those courses. And then there are module self-assessments to ensure that you actually are gaining the knowledge throughout the course, not just at the end. When you get to the end of each of the micro-credential courses, you do need to pass at an 80% score a final course assessment. As long as you can pass that course assessment at an 80%, you will earn that micro-credential for each of the courses. No matter if you are in an individual asynchronous session or in one of the facilitated sessions, you will have access to staff-led office hours. Those staff-led office hours are there to help you figure out any technical issues you may be having with the learning management platform, or if you have any other basically non-course questions. Because we know how it can be as you jump right back into something and you may have some of those types of questions. So everyone will have access to those opportunities. These are some of Emily did run a really rigorous and great pilot program this past spring, and we got some great feedback from those pilot participants. Based actually off a lot of the pilot feedback, we have made some great updates to the courses. Emily's been working so hard behind the scenes to make sure that everything is in tip-top shape. But this is what a lot of our participants have been saying. This is from one of the community engaged research microcredential participants. This individual said this program is a strong opportunity to develop professionally in community engagement. The rigor, the effort, the design, and the learning platform provided by Campus Compact shows how important continuous learning is to our work. The instructors do an excellent job of tying our focus back to those we are hoping to impact, which is our communities. I look forward to pursuing my full credential, and I think more should pursue this journey as well. Again, of course, we always hope that folks will pursue the CEP certification, but we also know that's not for everyone. So whether you're here to learn more about the full certification or you're here just exploring what the different micro-credential opportunities are, we know that there is a pathway for everyone within this process. Another one of our participants who took the community engaged teaching and learning microcredential, and this comment really struck me because this is something I know I have said for myself in the past. This individual said, I have expanded my knowledge base through this course. I have also added a lot of tools to my community engagement toolbox for when I work closely with professors. I would recommend this course to any professional looking to enhance their skills. And that comment about adding a lot of tools to their community engagement toolbox, those are words that have come out of my mouth so many times, especially around the community engaged teaching and learning microcredential. And that's something that I routinely say to people, especially staff CEPs. Many times staff CEPs may think that a teaching and learning course isn't for them. And I always say that I'm like, I've taken teaching and learning courses and I add so much to my toolbox by doing that. And it helps me think more broadly and more deeply about the work that I do when I'm working with faculty members. So when this person said this, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I say all the time. I hope this video works. So we will see. I don't know if you're also seeing Emily. I don't know. I don't know what our luck is today. We did have a short video of one of our participants, and we even tested this. We will ensure that this video link is available for you when we send the follow-up. But this was from one of our pilot participants just talking about her experience with the microcredential. And so we'll ensure that this is when we send the follow-up link that you are able to access this video. So I apologize. I think this is just, Emily's just never going to let me run the slides again. So what are your next steps? If you're sitting there thinking, I'm in, I want to do this, whichever pathway, and you're wondering, what do I need to do next? So here's kind of the steps for you. We are really asking people to indicate their interest. We have this QR code. I will also drop a link into the chat. We are asking folks to just complete a brief interest form. Not only does it indicate that you are interested in potentially going through taking a microcredential, either in the fall or further along in the future, it's helping us kind of discern what type of learning pathway you are interested in, either the self-assessment, or I mean the self-paced pathway, or cohort learning opportunities, or even if you're interested in bringing us to your campus. It's not saying that, yes, you have to do this. It's just saying, this is something I'm interested in. We will be releasing we will be releasing registration later this month. If you complete the interest form, you will get early access to it. And then courses will begin and actually these dates are swapped. Cohort-based experiences will begin September 7th with self-paced learners beginning August 31st. So that's kind of your next step. Registration will begin in late August, later this month. Actually, we're hoping to have it open next week for those completing the interest form. Fingers crossed that all of our tech stuff works. And then we'll be getting folks into the further. Registration does not close. No, that's a great question. Once registration opens, we will not be closing it. And that's something that those are great questions. There will be additional spring offerings, and we will kind of touch a little bit more on that. Yes, and I will drop the link in for the QR code. So this is going to probably another big question, fee structure. So fees for folks at our member institutions. If you are doing self-paced, the courses are $75 per course. If you are looking for the cohort-based learning, it's $125 per course. And then we are working on an individual basis with campuses that are looking at campus integration, and we are tailoring that pricing. If you're at a non-member institution, the self-paced courses are $150. Questions. So now we are going to open it up for questions. I'm going to unshare my screen so then we can all come back together, and I will drop the link instead of the QR code in the chat.
The first question that came through from Layla is, what is the time commitment for the cohort? Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, if anything has changed, but it's the same as what it would be for the independent folks, with the addition of some bi-weekly, every 2 weeks Zoom meeting. So 15 to 20 hours for the course. Does that sound right, Laura?
So it is 15 to 20 hours for the course. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once, and sometimes that doesn't work well for me. It is 15 to 20 hours for the course. We are going to test out instead of every other week for meetings, doing a altered schedule for one of the courses, just to like test out two different options, where we have one where it's every other week meetings, and then another opportunity where it is 2 sessions, then a week off, 2 sessions, then a week off, which would shorten the duration a little bit. And so we're working on offering those schedules so that folks would have what those dates look like. And because we want to see, like, do folks prefer a shortened time frame and meeting more frequently, or a spread out longer time frame, like every other week schedule? So we're looking at some of the two different schedule options.
And then is there a deadline for completion of courses? Do they need to be completed by the end of the fall semester?
Not in the self-paced. So in the self-paced, you can be in that self-paced class as long as you need to complete it. In the cohort-based learning, yes. So there would be like this kind of like if you were a student. So if you enter into a self-paced or into a cohort-based course, and I'm just pulling out dates. It starts August 31st and it ends December 18th, you would need to like complete that within that time frame. So those are the two different options. But self-paced learning, it is open for as much time as you need.
Angie, did we answer your question? What would the duration be for the cohort per class? Actually, no, Laura, you can probably speak to that. Is it 16 weeks?
So the every other week would be 16 weeks. The other option we're looking at would be 10 weeks. But there would be two break weeks in there, if that makes sense.
Got it. And a required order for each course. No, these can be taken individually or in whatever order you like. If you're planning on taking five, all five, and moving towards full certification, then we do recommend doing fundamentals first. And then partnerships and critical commitments are the other two that are kind of like essential core courses. So I would do those next. And then teaching and learning and research are kind of like our electives. So those could be taken in any order. And then the next four that we build out will be like electives as well, faculty development, assessment and evaluation, things like that. So yeah, these are stackable micro credentials. So you take them in whatever order you want, building to certification or not. There's no preference on our end as far as what order you go or how many you take. Laura, do you want to speak to Beatrice's question about campus integration?
Yes, sorry, I was dropping the link in and I missed Beatrice's question.
Yeah, we could read it for everybody. While I understand campus integration programming may be bespoke pricing, is there a range that you might provide and or a use case example that includes pricing? I'd like to share this with colleagues and leadership at the university I work for. I think that we are a member institution. Thank you for all this great information.
Beatrice, can you let me know where you're located?
Sure. New York.
Okay. The reason why I ask is, yeah, sorry, I should have said a city and state is great. So part of the pricing on it does have to do with travel. So where the pricing is coming in right now is there would be like a fee for like fee to come in for the actual programming. And then there is travel related fee. And that's probably the biggest piece of the variable right now is travel costs, depending on where campuses are at. And so right now we are working on some pricing for the costs around integration before travel costs in the probably around $2,500. But then there's travel costs. But we are still firming up what some of those costs look like. And again, it is based on which micro credentials, because then that can determine number of facilitators and things like that. But so that is not a hard and fast cost.
Thank you. It helps to put it in a
And
framework.
also, there can be some other things that can come into play with those costs as well.
So
Thank you.
we had a question about the capstone project for those seeking the full certification, and I added a hyperlink to that page on our website that has a little more information. I'm happy to answer specific questions, but I will say that that's not completely built out yet because we recognize it's going to take folks quite some time, potentially 2 years to get to that point. So we have some time to really like hone this in and make it exactly what we want it to be. But we have kind of the base there. So it's designed to be a project to demonstrate what you've learned, and we want the project to be valuable to you in your practice or in your future career search if you're not in a position yet. So there's 7 formats, as I mentioned. The professional portfolio is kind of the traditional capstone project and similar to what folks knew about in the previous version of this credentialing program. You could also do a community engagement project plan that is ready for a realistic initiative. You could put together a reflective case study, in-depth analysis of a specific community engagement effort. You could offer a presentation or scholarly defense. This would be a 20 to 25-minute live presentation before an evaluator panel. You could create a teaching or training module, a ready to facilitate workshop or professional development module designed to build community engagement capacity in others. or you could put together a video or multimedia documentary. We were trying to think a little outside the box here, so that could be a place to get creative, or a community-based action research project if you're focused more on research. So those are the different options. Whichever one you choose, you'll also have a reflective component, just like narrative about your experience in the program. So that's kind of what it looks like. We're still finalizing the evaluation rubric. But if there are specific questions about that, okay, cool. It sounds like that answered some of them. We're happy to go in depth more.
I see a question about materials and readings. The materials, and Emily, did you go over this? Did I miss this?
I don't think
Okay.
so.
Yeah, materials and readings are included in the module. And Emily, I don't think there's anything else that they're expected to purchase.
No, most of the reading lists are things that are open access or we've downloaded and uploaded for you. So you can get to everything that's essential reading, but then we also recommend, the instructors have recommended readings like books and things that you can buy on your own, but nothing required. Everything is built right into that LMS platform.
And that's the same thing, like if you were to do a campus integration as well. So like we would provide all the materials that we would bring in as well. I would say I am also a big, huge fan of working with your library to see how you can ensure that you're requesting some of those texts so that your library then has it through your library that folks can check it out or get it through interlibrary loan as well.
I see a question. I think this is about the capstone, about can it be a syllabus for a community engaged course? That's a great idea. And I think we didn't put that on the list because we're thinking more about community engagement professionals that are supporting the faculty and the folks that are in the field teaching and doing research. But that's not to say we don't encourage faculty who are doing community engaged teaching to take the courses too. So that is a great idea. I think Laura and I can chat about that and see if that's another option we can add in, um, or we can modify one of the existing ones to make that inclusive of a syllabus. I see the teaching or training module could be a place um, to
Yeah,
expand.
yeah, I've got some ideas on how that could be expand. Yeah, it has my mind going. So yeah, Emily, I'd like to talk about that.
These are all
Other
great
questions?
questions. Yeah, anyone's welcome to just unmute. We have 20 minutes to chat if folks want to share particular questions.
Hi, I have a question, just a follow up to the
Yes,
question that you
please.
just answered about a syllabus. And just based off of your answer, and maybe I missed this earlier because I joined a little late, I'm sorry, but so this course is targeted towards, like you just said, those who are actually out there in the field doing community engaged work. So not so much somebody whose job is more teaching, but is incorporating community engaged projects within their course.
Our audience is broad. So, CEP, Community Engagement Professional, the book that was written with the competencies that we built all of the material around, is really about a community engagement professional, like potentially a staff person on campus working in a center of community engagement that is there to support the faculty in the field and the researchers in the field. However, we went into this, all the instructors went into this with these different profiles of potential participants, including a community engaged faculty member, and also including maybe a grad student who wants to do community engaged work in their future, or somebody who's just stepping a toe in the water or something. So it really is broad, but some of the language you'll see is geared kind of directly towards a CEP, but it's all relevant to faculty members, students, community partners even.
And
Thank you.
what I would say to that as well as is that many times faculty members, as they're moving through their career, may find themselves later on in their career stepping into those roles to a role as a CEP through other avenues. I have many friends who our faculty members who found themselves in a CEP role later in their career through an administrative pathway, where they were faculty members teaching community engagement courses for many, many years. And then as they moved up to program directors and then to department chairs and then to college deans, and then I have a friend who retired but then became an associate provost, became like said to me, I feel like I am now in this like kind of quasi community engagement professional role who is now supporting faculty doing this work more so than teaching community engagement, and found herself really looking at the competencies of a community engagement professional later in life and really aligned with a lot of this. So that's where I would say I think some of the courses could be really, really beneficial as you begin to think that way, or if you ever think, I may find myself in that type of position, or for faculty who might be in engaged faculty roles with a center at your institution. These types of courses or even the certification can be really valuable in that way.
And I'll say at least two of our instructors, critical commitments and research, are not CEPs themselves. They are faculty members who do community engaged research. And so the way they wrote things is very broad, that works for everybody. I mean, probably even targets faculty more than anybody, which is helpful to a CEP too, because we want to hear what the faculty are experiencing and needing and what their work looks like. Rubric is still under development. We have an outline, but I think that will continue to be modified as we go along. Yeah. Other questions or suggestions? There were some great ideas that came through here too. Okay, well, I think we can wrap it up from here then. And Laura, if there's anything else you want to say about next steps, feel free. I think you put some links in the chat, but you all are welcome to reach out to us anytime. We have a Prof Dev email address that's linked on our website, or reach out directly to Laura or I, and we'll be happy to answer more questions or do one-on-one conversations as you're thinking about your next steps in this program. We're really excited to have you and get this all kicked off after so much work. Anything else, Laura? Are we good to go?
I think we're good, and I apologize for all the technical difficulties. I don't know why our video didn't work. Emily and I even tested it.
Okay, well, we will send out a follow-up email with all the links and the information and the recording, and we hope to see you in a future course. Thanks so much for your time and your interest. Take care, everyone.